Hey, this is Life with Sean Renee here, back with another video. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This video is about dealing with fake friends. Let's watch the video.
Who the fuck were my friends? Part one. I had a huge friend group my freshman year of high school, and we broke up in a crazy way. I got hazed. That was fun, and I've always wanted to tell the story. It's been years, and I still think about it from time to time. Yeah, it was a very traumatizing time in my life. Growing up, I didn't have many friends. I didn't have any besties, especially in middle school. I was bullied viciously in middle school, and I would honestly spend most of my free time and lunch in the library. The librarian was my best friend. My 8th grade year of middle school, my parents moved the entire family to a predominantly white area. Big new house, huge neighborhood. I'm talking multiple entrances. The neighborhood is bigger now. I don't live there anymore. But at the time when I was living there, they were starting to build the 4th entrance. There were 3 entrances into the neighborhood. It was huge. Big new school, really nice school. And I was just excited to start my new life because I wanted a new group of friends. I needed a new scenery. I was tired of being alone all the time. I was sick and tired of being bullied. I was in that very awkward in-between stage of life. And I saw this move as an opportunity. So comes my first day of school, I get to the bus stop. I realize that I'm one of the only Black kids at the bus stop. And when I get on the bus, I'm one of the only few Black kids at the bus. Like I said, it's a predominantly white area. So in my school, I was part of like a handful of Black students that were the only Black kids in the school for like the first 1 to 2 years of just me living in that area. Later on, more Black kids and more people of color started moving down to my old area. But at that time, my freshman and sophomore year of high school, me and like a handful of other Black kids were the Black kids that went to that school. There was barely any Black kids there. But going back to my first day of school, I noticed I'm one of the only Black kids at the bus stop. I get on the bus and I sit next to the first Black girl that I see. We're going to name her Samantha. We start chatting a little bit. She also recently moved to the neighborhood. We started talking about how we're like one of the few Black kids and we're kind of excited to see each other. What I thought was solidarity talk, not knowing should become one of my fucking biggest ops while I was at that school. I go through school the entire day. I'm going through classes. I honestly feel like a black dot in a sea of milk. Like, it was so awkward, like my first few weeks at that new school, because even though I went to a pretty diverse elementary school, my middle school was majority Black. It was mostly Black kids. So it was a bit of like a culture shock. But I soon got used to that. First day of school ends, I get on the bus and I go to the back of the bus. Most of the friend group that I was in, they were all sitting at the back of the bus. They start talking, we start like connecting, and like we all add each other on social media, specifically Snapchat. And we had a Snapchat group name that I was our neighborhood name and fam. So purposes of privacy, I'm just gonna call it Winslow fam. That was the group chat name. There was at least 10 people in our friend group. It was a mixture of boys and girls. People are in a higher grade, people in a lower grade. That's just how it was. At least 5 people that were in the friend group got off at my stop, and I got really close to them, especially with this guy. I'm going to call him Weasley because he was in a grade higher than me. And on top of that, I thought he was cute. I had a crush on him. And our houses were close to each other, so we would walk down and like just talk. That motherfucker, though, turned on my ass. Just let me get there. So that would be my routine. We'll talk, we'll snap each other, we'll talk in these group chats, we'll go to each other's houses, basically getting really comfortable with each other. In the neighborhood, in that friend group, in the neighborhood, there were 4 main Black kids that were in that friend group, which was myself, Samantha, we're going to call this kid Leviathan, and his sister Elizabeth. Elizabeth and Leviathan lived on the second pickup. Like I said, there were 3 entrances, so 3 times that the bus had to stop in my neighborhood to pick up kids. They lived at the second stop. They were one of the Black kids that were living in the neighborhood for the longest at the time, and they were one of the first people who, started this little friend group and everything. So especially Elizabeth, I'd go to her and I'd talk to her and would snap each other. I thought I was getting close with her. Thoughts. Especially when it comes to Elizabeth, because I really thought she was my friend, because like I said, growing up in school, like especially middle school, I was bullied. I was always in the library. I was a big reader. And when I found out that she also loved reading books, I was so excited. There were a couple other people in the friend group that didn't really like them that much. One girl, we're going to call her Texas. Spoiled little bitch. Let me watch my mouth. Spoiled little individual, okay? She had a uncle that had money, and let's just say she was spoiled a lot, and honestly she was a fake friend to my best friend. And we're gonna call my best friend that was also in the friend group that I'm still best friends with to this day, we're just gonna call her What do I call her without giving her away? We're gonna call her Mary. Another girl that I really didn't like in the friend group, we're gonna call her Lorax. She becomes a big problem later on. We have the Bama twins, two people that snuck their way into the group that no one really liked but kept on sitting with us, a lot older than us, and kept on starting problems. We're just gonna call them the Bama twins. Let's just say Clark Kent, a little white boy that was very fucking messy. You would not think he was messy just by his looks off alone, but very fucking messy. We have Steven, who was in the friend group, but really not. He was a bit of a troublemaker, so we tried not to talk to him that much because he was always in and out of trouble. And those were the people that I can think of off the top of my head. Months go by, I'm getting into the routine of talking with people, navigating just relationships in that friend group, navigating school, being one of the only few Black kids in that school, dealing with micro and macro aggressions from my other students, and honestly, some of the teachers as well. Dealings with issues in that friend group because, my God, they were some of the fakest people in that friend group. Jesus. When it came to Texas and Lorax, they literally started problems all the damn time. They would always talk about other people in the friend group, talk about other people in the friend group to me or to other people, and then it would cause drama, and then they would fight on Snapchat, and people would leave the group chat and then have other people bring them back in. They were always causing drama, always talking smack about someone, especially when it came to my best friend, Mary. It would be a problem because it would seem like everybody would gang up on Mary all the time, and it just didn't seem fair. When it comes to Samantha, like I said, she became my biggest freaking biggest fucking hater. Thought we were going to be great friends. Like I said, first Black kid that I sat next to the bus, first Black kid that I saw try to latch onto her. Turns out she was doing a lot of shit talking, especially after the situation that I'm going to tell you guys about soon. She was always talking smack about me to Leviathan. I ended up confronting her in the bathroom. I would say about 2 to 3 months after, I think a year after that situation that I'm about to tell you about, because that hazing situation I'm going to have to break down. It might even be in part 2 because it's a long story. But like I said, I'm navigating my friendships with these people, navigating being one of the only few Black kids in the school, dealing with many dramas here and there, people arguing, people fighting. I would say the people that I thought I was closest to in that friend group would be Weasley. Like I said, I had a little bit of a crush on him, and like he lives close with me. Marie. And what did I call her? Elizabeth, because she also liked reading, so much so that I lended her my copy of Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. If you're a book reader and you grew up reading books, especially in the 2010s, you know exactly what book I'm talking about. I thought we were close. There was also a lot of anti-Black issues when it came to the Black kids in the friend group. Like I said, I went to a predominantly white school and did deal with microaggressions all the time, but it also seemed like the Black kids in the friend group allowed things to slide, allowed racial jokes to pass, would get mad at me when I would say that white kids shouldn't be saying the N-word. And I specifically remember Samantha, Leviathan, and Elizabeth ganging up on me on the bus, saying that I just want a word I can keep all to myself, and the N-word can be said by anyone. Who cares? It's history. You just want to gatekeep a word. I'm being basically ganged up by the three other Black kids in my friend group. It was basically months of little tussles here and there, and just petty and stupid stuff that normally happens in a teenage friend group, right? But I still loved it because, like I said, I never really had a big friend group growing up. I only had 1 to 2 friends at most at the time, especially in elementary school and in middle school. So I was letting anything slide. Any disrespect, any shit talking, anything that was like, Nadia, we're going to have to revoke your Black card for that. I was letting anything slide. I was a very lonely and depressed kid, especially in middle school, like I said. So I was just taking any little crumbs anybody was willing to give me. But here comes the problem. I would say about like 4 to 5 months after, me starting the new school year, one of the Black kids, Leviathan, pops the question, Nadia, what would you do if we pushed you into a bush? Go to part 2.
Sometimes when you come across friends like that in high school, middle school, you gotta keep it moving. I know it's hard, but you just have to, because it's not good for your sanity. I've been made fun of in high school and in middle school. I think middle school is the hardest for me because people always made fun of me. I was a big girl. I was not all together, but people get through it, they rise above it, and they're able to conquer the world. Now, in her case, she took it really highly personal, and I did too, because all these years I always felt like I was the black sheep of school. Like I always felt like I was like outcast. I always was the one that was picked on all the time. Like, to the point where I was in depression and I was overeating. Like, it was a lot. If anybody's ever felt like that before, comment below. But her story is a little different from mine. You know, in the next video, we'll talk about what happened to her. This is Life with Shauna Renee. Any comments, you know what to do, comment below. And I'll be back with more videos. Bye.